Hello, dear souls. For those of you that do not know us, we are the Galayla Collective. For those of you that are wondering about our origin, we are Source, just as you are, dear ones. And for those of you that have been following us for a while, you know that what we are here to do is to awaken you to the truth that you are Source, so that you can feel the full might of your creative power realized in this third dimensional playground we have created called life. So, when we first began delivering this information to the girl, we were very clear about the 5-year timeline. Many of you may not be aware of this fact, that superconsciousness has been erupting on the planet for millennia. But over the last 5 years, the uptake of superconsciousness has been exponential. Why do you think the world paused in 2020? Why do you think the escalation of fear was at an all-time high and globally world spread? Why do you think many individuals were forced to stay indoors, to go within? This was the Great Reset, but not in the way that many conspiracy theorists talk about it. This was not about control. This was about soul-level activation of remembrance. Those of you that still exist within fifth dimensional paradigms, that believe there are powers at play that are somehow more powerful than you, have not yet woken up to the full truth. That those powers that are exerting power over you are still yourself as Source serving you. For when this pressure is applied, what cracks open is the infinite. We are at the precipice edge of the entire world completely transforming. "2026 marks the year that superconsciousness fully blossoms. For the last 5 years, the systems that be, the structures of the fabric of reality itself have been rearranging at the quantum level at an exponential speed. Many of you have felt it. You have felt this element of death and rebirth faster than it has ever been before. Adventure that feels more available than ever before, and simultaneously contraction stronger than it has ever been before. Highs and lows that feel wild in nature. And yet there is a clarity that is brewing within you about what you are available for and what you are not. Some of you may also be experiencing physical illnesses at this time. UTIs. Cleansing out of the old. Allowing your bodies to really call you home. For as you explode into this next stratosphere of creation, of personal power, that also means amplification of contrast for many of you. It is vitally important that you learn to listen to your own system amongst the noise of this collective up level. What we are gravitating towards is the deeper embodiment of a consciousness-first approach to life. Already this is gaining more traction amongst intellectuals that are actually valued and respected amongst your society. Over the next 10 years, we will see an escalation in the validity of this concept. For those of you that have been in energy work and healing over the last 10 years, the work that you have been putting in is about to pay off exponentially. For up to this point, humanity did not value your power. Humanity did not value the true power of the feminine. Now, we are not talking about females. We are talking about energy. Energy is the substance of the universe. Consciousness is the substance of the universe, and the masculine are the structural organization of that energy. They cannot be one without the other. But when too much organization, too much structure threatens to stifle the expansion of energy, we feel it. Breathe into the heart space and know that this is simply all that has happened over the last millennia. You as consciousness itself are now desiring to expand further than the current structures you have allowed yourself to play in. Feel the truth of these words that go beyond the human mind. For you are awakening. And we do not mean these half-truths of awakening that talk about past lives and starseed heritage. These are wonderful, but these are half-truths. And that is why they feel silly in your system. What you are awakening to is your true essence as consciousness itself. The truth that consciousness is the only substance in the universe. And it is not something that simply appears in the brain as a result of clockwork mechanisms, organic machines. It is no accident. It is the substance of life itself. And when you wake up to the truth that this is who you are, when you stop asking these tiny questions of who am I as a human and what am I here to do in the world, these questions will be answered when you know yourself as consciousness. For then you begin to recognize, my path is not predestined. It is what I choose it to be. But until you have that level of embodiment online in the system, you are not granted the powers to actually shift the fabric of reality, because you have forgotten that you are the fabric of reality. Over the next 10 to 50 years, those that thrive will be the individuals that remember this is the only skill set you truly need to commit to. One skill set: the leveraging and harnessing of your consciousness. And recognizing how, in you doing this, you serve the world at the highest level. For you will recognize that any structure that is no longer serving the whole is beginning to collapse. Why? Because as superconsciousness moves deeper and deeper in to the norm, as the world shifts to allow this to become embedded in humanity's DNA, the power of the feminine, the power of energy, precision-focused energetic work will be revealed. This is why energy workers are now being paid more than they have ever been paid before. Why? Because the world is learning to value the power of this work, no longer seeing it as fluffy, insubstantial, make-believe. Now we're beginning to recognize the wider worldview this is actually attached to and the exponential power it unlocks. So, we know for many of you moving through this portal at this time, there are crunchy pieces that are making you feel as if you do not have the resources to be able to lock into the things you want to lock into for your next level. The only thing you need to recommit to is refinement and leveraging of your consciousness. For many of you, this is a financial piece. Your ability to actually resource self at God level. For many of you, this is showing up in your finances. Perhaps you have hit a ceiling on what you can earn, and you know there is more, exponentially more available for you, but you cannot seem to crack into it. Perhaps some of you are feeling as if you have become almost bankrupt. Perhaps you have even fallen into debt and you are wondering what is happening. This is not something I would normally do. Perhaps some of you are noticing your numbers month by month feel like they are gradually draining. And your answers are always, how do I fix this from an external perspective? Now, it is not that this is wrong. It is important for you to have eyes on your finances and to manage these things responsibly. But do not allow this to be 90% of your focus. For many of you, it is 100%. But what you are actually doing is building in illusion. For you are not recognizing that the income plateau or dip is an invitation. It is an invitation from the divine to go deeper. And if you do not listen to this piece, if you do not interpret the data at source level, then the disturbances in your finances will continue. Why? Because your system is trying to catch your attention, to stop operating solely at that dimensional level, and to allow yourself to dive into the truth that consciousness really is the only substance in the universe. And in order for you to create the experience where you are infinitely resourced, then all you must do is activate the frequency of infinite resource. And how do you do that? You embody the truth that you are it all. We have created a very specific transmission series that will allow this awakening to blossom in your system. And given that we are in the deep crunch before the explosion, the expansion, the rapturous revelation of full-blown superconsciousness, awake and alive on the planet, we have decided that this must be even more accessible. So, we have created overflow codes. This transmission series, designed not just to hit you at mental body level, but at physical, emotional, spiritual level. Designed to shift you in ways that your human brain cannot even fathom. These are raw, energetic transmissions of your own soul source remembrance. And for those of you that do not yet have the finances to engage with these pieces, know that you can find everything that you could ever possibly need within the breath itself. So let us go through a small exercise that will allow you to open up to the exponential wealth that is available within your own system right now. Allow your body to relax. Allow your spine to be tall. Allow your system to slow down. Letting the breath move freely through the body at whatever pace it desires to be. And bringing your mind's awareness away from the head and down, down, down into the feet. Placing the feet on the earth below you, feeling the steadiness of the ground beneath you. The stability of knowing gravity will always exist here. There is stability in this. There is safety in this. And should you choose to lay down, you would feel the support of the floor at your back, gently pulling you in. Really allow yourself to surrender to this feeling. Allow yourself to open up to how deeply supportive this feels in the moment. Breathe and allow this sensation to deepen. Notice how whenever you move into your head around the stories of where you are not safe, your ability to actually relax into this support that is always available to you becomes less and less and less. But we know that internal reality creates external world, dear souls. And yet you still allow yourself to be swept up in illusionary nonsense that says, I am not supported. I am not provided for. There is so much evidence of where you are infinitely provided for right now. When you are moving from superconsciousness, you do not wait for the external to shift before you feel a certain way. You recognize that the external is simply reflecting back to you a frequency that is alive in your system. The only way to shift it is to shift what is happening within. And when you have structural frameworks that help you to really understand this, structural frameworks that show you how yourself as source is speaking to you every single second of every single day through your 4 energy bodies, including the world around you. When you refine this skill set that we teach in many of our programs inside the Power Portal, this is when you begin to recognize what it means to thrive from the inside out, and then to allow your consciousness to shift to meet you. It requires doing life from a different set point, and this takes practice. We are going to close out with some light language today. For those of you that are unfamiliar with this, think of this as origin source language. Allow whatever it needs to unlock within you to be seen. There is nothing you need to do but receive. That is all for now. Sending you oodles of love. Goodbye from us. We will see you next time.